On July 14th, the South Korean government released its blueprint for the Korean Green New Deal, making South Korea the first country in Asia to implement the Green New Deal. The Korean Green New Deal is the Moon administration's response to the threats of climate change and the COVID-19 economic recession. However, many environmentalists and climate activists argue that the proposed Green New Deal isn't enough to respond to the threat of climate change. Days after the Green New Deal plan was released, youth climate activists took to the streets to voice their frustrations.
탄소 감축 목표 없는 그린 뉴딜 진심이냐? 허울뿐인 그린 뉴딜 목표 설정 확실해라.
Looking closely at the plan, it's clear that they have good reasons to be upset. The Korean Green New Deal is one of the most ambitious public projects in recent Korean history. It calls for 73 trillion Korean won to generate 650,000 jobs in the green industry sectors. The plan is divided into three main projects. Green remodeling projects include plans to install solar panels and energy-efficient insulators in public buildings. For green energy, the government plans to invest in new and renewable energy in order to produce 42.7 gigawatts of energy by 2025. Eco-friendly mobility projects include subsidizing the supply of 1 million electric and hydrogen vehicles. While these projects contribute to the environment in their own ways, the Korean Green New Deal as a whole fails to adequately address the threat of climate change. First of all, it lacks the most crucial goal of net zero carbon emissions by 2050. The plan states that it will move towards the net zero goal without any commitment on how and when to actually achieve the goal. Eugene Lee from Green Transition Institute wrote that Korea's proposed Green New Deal is no more than a list of industry projects that are detached from the ultimate goal of reducing carbon emissions and thereby effectively responding to the climate crisis. It seems true that the Green New Deal is not what many people expected. Then, what can be done to make it better? First of all, the plan needs to include a strong commitment of achieving carbon net zero by 2050. Along the same vein, the government needs to establish a detailed roadmap to reducing Korea's greenhouse gas emissions to half by 2030. Also, the Korean government should open up avenues to a variety of civic stakeholders to provide meaningful input. The Green New Deal should be a starting point for much tougher regulations on existing industries that are responsible for the warming climate. Without banning the sales of internal combustion engine vehicles, and without stopping the construction of new coal plants and airports, the efforts for the Green New Deal will be futile. Right now, Korea is building 7 new coal-fired power plants across the country and more overseas. To espouse a Green New Deal while continuing to build new fossil fuel plants is to tarnish the true meaning and vision of a Green New Deal.
우리 대한민국만 베트남과 인도네시아에 신규 석탄 발전소를 짓는다고 합니다. 청년들이 얼마나 좌절을 느끼고 비통함을 느끼고
기후위기로 인한 코로나19와 같은 전염병이 생기지 않도록 우리가 다시 마음 놓고 만날 수 있도록 하는 정책에도 많은 집중을 해야 하지 않을까요?
국가는 그동안 우리 사회에서 당연시되어 온 구조적 착취와 부정의를 직면해야만 합니다. 사회 전 분야에서 공공성을 최우선 가치로 삼지 않고서는 대한민국에 희망차고 밝은 미래는 없을 것입니다.
With an increasing number of activists and young people speaking out against its hypocrisy, the Korean government is under pressure to respond with a new and improved plan to act on climate change.
목표 설정 확실히 해라.